What's going on? Welcome to another day of mobility with the 5-pillar method. Thanks for jumping in. Let's start by finding a nice comfy spot on your mat. Just take a moment to get comfy, get in a nice headspace, find a nice rhythm of your breath. It helps that mind relax. To allow your body to get into a state of recovery and open up for better movement. Taking a little time to take some attention to your breath, directing that air into the diaphragm area, noticing the belly rise in the inhale and slowly deflating on the exhale. And on every exhale, just letting go of tension. Since we are focusing on the lower half, we'll take some targeted breaths with a body scan starting with the toes. On the next exhale, just visualize those toes just going to sleep. Getting nice and limp. And another breath with your foot. As you exhale, soften through that arch, through the balls of your feet. Feel your ankles sink heavy into your mat as we keep working our way up. On your next breath, softening through your shin muscles, those TIB-ANTs, through your calf muscles, just completely going limp from everything below your knee. And let's take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, we'll take our attention to your left foot toes. So this is a free-for-all exercise. What we're feeling for is range of motion at each individual joint of each individual toe. And looking for tension in the pads of the toes, restriction around the joints. So you can give a gentle twist along the axis of the toes, a gentle tug to free up the joint space. Press it passively into flexion, extension, and just noting any joints that feel restricted compared to the rest. Making sure to give some extra attention to the big toe. You can just hold it in its end range and challenge it to find new range. Just being cautious to not get into pain. Being sensitive to how your body's responding. And trying to consciously stay relaxed. This is fairly active as you work your hands through those feet. But mentally, we still want to stay nice and chill. Nice relaxing vibes. Turning off any muscle we don't need. Keep working your way through those toes. We'll take one more breath here. And we'll grab that lacrosse ball or golf ball. And we'll focus our attention on the left foot surface. So this could be around the balls of the feet, could be in the arch, could be in the heel. And just find yourself a position in a target area that your body's telling you it needs today. If you're extra tight and around the balls of the feet, let that be your focus. If you're extra tight around the arch, spend some extra time there. Or if it's your heel, let that be your focus. Whatever portion you're at, settle into the right amount of tension and pressure to help that area settle down. And there's really no hard rules. You can massage it along the axis of the muscle or against the fibers. Research has shown benefits to both. You can just hang out and stay static, add pressure. The most important thing is paying attention to how your body's responding as we're working through this tissue. If it's starting to settle down and your movement's improving, we'll call that a win. As we finish up this foot, we'll take one more breath. And as you exhale, we'll take our attention to the left TIB-ANT. So the tibialis anterior is like your shin muscle. So it'll be on the outside, the lateral side of your left shin. So we'll place that shin on top of the lacrosse ball. We obviously want to be on muscle, not on your shin bone itself. And just start panning through that muscle. Look for what's carrying tension. Be sensitive to what areas need attention and how much tension they can tolerate today, and the angle we're applying that tension. It can be helpful to move your foot through range of motion here, getting it into positions you struggle with, whether that's dorsiflexion or plantar flexion or both. Just find that rhythm and find whatever version of this exercise works for you. And it may be very different than the video we're showing now. That's really meant to guide you. You're only going to know with a little trial and error. And every chance we get, circling back to your breath, circling back to finding passive state throughout your whole body. So relaxing through your face, your head, your neck, and anything we don't need today. And on your next exhale, we'll shift to the opposite side of your shin to work on that left calf. And you can use the lacrosse ball here. The kettlebell is a nice option, the handle of the kettlebell or a dumbbell. Whatever you have handy. Just a relatively hard object that we can test around that lower calf and look for whatever needs attention. A lot of times the junction right between your lower muscle of your calf and your upper calf, right around where that gastroc starts, can be very tender. And it can need attention. And then settle into the right amount of pressure, the right amount of tension that your body's telling you it needs. And again, moving it through some range of motion can be helpful. So pointing and flexing the toes. Moving through plantar and dorsiflexion. Just do some experimenting. Look for what your body needs. Pay attention to how it's responding to this exercise and this version of the exercise. And generally, a higher pressure will give us a deeper release. We never want to dive into pain. Let's take one more breath here. As you exhale that breath, we'll move into a left toe extension stretch. So you can do this up on a ledge. We're going to demonstrate from the floor. So just starting with your left foot flush on the floor and then elevating your left heel to stretch out those toes. And just find a level of stretch that feels right. The end of your pain-free range of motion. And then focus on getting passive. Relaxing through those toe muscles, relaxing through your foot, doing your best to sync those target areas to your breathing. As you're letting go of that breath, imagine letting go of tension through that lower limb. And in about 10 seconds, we'll gently get active by attempting to depress your toes through the floor to resist the stretch. And let's go ahead, starting with nice easy tension. Attempting to flex your toe through the floor, being active through all those toes, ramping up tension as we go. Big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1, let's gently reverse. Squeeze through the front side of your toes, the front side of your foot, actively attempting to pull your toes further into the stretch, ramping up tension as we go. Big tension here to finish. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Get nice and passive through your foot again, in those toes. Mentally going back to your happy place. Settling back into that rhythm of breath. It helps your mind relax. And letting those relaxing vibes just spread through your whole body. And let's take one more breath here. As you exhale, do a little left toe scrunches. So the idea here is to move your toes into full flexion, bringing them tight together like you're making a fist with your toes, and then extending them in the opposite end and spreading them apart as far as you can as you extend them out. And each rep attempting to squeeze a little tighter into that ball and attempting to squeeze a little further out as you extend and spread. And you can use lacrosse ball to bend around the toes. You can free for all. Whatever version of this feels most effective for you, let that be your exercise for today. And each rep, try to challenge yourself to come a tiny bit further towards that end range. Giving that second wind push towards the end. Let's really squeeze as we round out this minute. Big push for this last rep. And let's let go of that breath and we'll transition into a left low dragon stretch. So we're shifting our attention up into that left calf, letting your chest get heavy on top of that lower leg. And while we're here, just running through a quick checklist of anything that is carrying tension. Are your toes still carrying tension? Is the top part of your foot still tense? Is the bottom part of your foot tense? Is your heel tense? Anything that's got that tension, just mentally hit the off switch and try to get as passive as you can and relax into the pain-free end range of this stretch. And again, doing your best to sync your breath with that target area as you let go of that breath. Imagine letting go of tension through that whole left ankle and foot. Let's take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, we'll shift to the right foot. And starting with those toes, again, one toe at a time. Just doing a little free for all, feeling out which toes feel restricted. So you may be massaging the pads of the toes. You may be pushing them into full extension or flexion. You might be twisting them along their axis, or a bit of all of the above. Just feel out where they feel restricted, making sure to give a little extra tension to that big toe. Attempting to move every joint through its range of motion, and anything that feels stiffer than the rest, just keeping your attention there. Giving it a little extra love. And again, this is a pretty active exercise. Obviously, we're using the upper body, but the more passive we can stay mentally, the better we can deal with that tension and help improve these feet, improve their movement. Maintaining that nice rhythm with your breath helps you find calm. And let's take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, move into the right foot. So the bottom surface of your right foot, again, it could be the balls of the feet, it could be in around the arch, could be into the heel, just working your way through any potential trouble spots, anything that feels particularly restricted. Let's stick there, give it some attention, and then settle back to your breath. You can use your offhand to apply tension or you take it away. Just find that happy medium level of tension where we're not getting into pain, but we are getting enough pressure and tension to relieve the tension in that foot. And this is another one of those active exercises, but again, doing your best to stay passive. Nice relaxed headspace, nice relaxing rhythm of breath. Breathing into the diaphragm and breathing through the nose every breath we can. And let's take one more breath here. And as you sigh out that breath, shift our attention into the right tibialis anterior, your TIB-ANTs. So the outside portion of that right shin. Take a few seconds and pan around that shin. Look for what needs attention here. And then once you've found it, settle into the right angle of pressure, the right amount of pressure. Again, you can move your ankle into a range that it tends to struggle with, whether that's dorsiflexion or plantarflexion or anywhere in between. Just pay attention to how your body's responding based on the amount of pressure, based on the angle of your ankle. And just keep tweaking. The more time you dedicate to this, the better in tune you'll get to your body, and the better plan you get. And that said, just being aware that mobility improvement does work in layers. And a lot of times when you free up a certain layer, it just exposes the next one. So we do want to keep mixing things up and try not to fall into your comfort zone of positions. And always trying to work on the areas that need most attention. Let's take one more breath here. As you slowly sigh out that breath, let's move into the right calf. So just switching sides, working through the mid part of that calf. Anything is fair game here. We just want to avoid being on deep into that Achilles tendon. And we want to avoid being in a position that's going to cause us pain. Just look for what needs attention. Settle into the right amount of pressure. Focus on remaining as passive as you can. Mentally go into your happy place. And just remind yourself that this is time for you to focus on improving your movement, reducing your pain, reducing your stress, and just freeing yourself up for better movement, better function. And every chance we get, circling back to your pacing and depth of breath, keeping your focus there, staying nice and chill mentally, and letting that mind calm the body. Let's take one more breath here. As you sigh out that breath, we'll move into the right side toe extension. So again, there's an option to place your balls of your feet into a ledge. We're going to demonstrate going from the floor and lifting the heel. Just different strategies for getting here. And then settle in, so whatever pain-free range of motion you have through your toes. So we should feel a stretch here, we shouldn't feel pain. Bring the heel up as high as pain level will allow. And then focus on getting passive. Relaxing through the feet, relaxing through the toes, relaxing through the ankle. Keeping your attention on your breath. And in about 10 seconds, we will gently get active through the toes by attempting to push them down into the floor, resisting the stretch. And let's go ahead. Imagine creating a hole with your toes pressing into the floor, ramping up tension as we go. Really squeezing here to finish. Big tension, squeezing. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Squeeze through the top part of your toes, the top part of your foot. Actively attempting to pull yourself deeper into that stretch, working within your pain-free range, ramping up tension to finish. Big tension here, these last few. 3, 2, 1. Let's let go of that breath. Find that passive position. Settle into whatever level of stretch feels right to finish up here today. Mentally go into your happy place and allowing yourself to enjoy the moment. Let's take one more breath here. And as you let go of that breath, move into right toe scrunches. So again, attempting to make a fist with your right foot, squeezing those toes in tight, and then reversing, spreading the toes out and far apart, and each rep attempting to carve out new range. And generally, the harder we work here, the better benefit we get. As the minute goes on, just attempting to squeeze a little bit further into that end range. Squeezing those toes tight together, really extending them out, spreading them apart. And let's ramp up that tension a tiny bit more for these last 10. Really squeezing, making this last rep your best. And breath out, and let's move into a right side low dragon. So again, in a lunge position, letting that chest fall heavy on top of that lower leg. Stretch out that lower to mid calf. Settle into whatever level of stretch feels right for today. Running through your mental checklist of anything that might be tight. Could be the toes, the balls of the feet, the arch, the heel, the ankle, your calf. Anything that feels like it's fighting the stretch, just mentally turn it off and get as passive as you can and completely submit to this position. Let's take one more breath here. As you sigh out that breath, we'll call it a wrap. Thanks for joining us here today with some 5-pillar mobility. Hope your feet and ankles are feeling terrific. Hope you enjoyed the session. Hope you're starting to get some results through this program. If you liked the video, remember to subscribe and like. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.